You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Live from Rogers Place to kick off the Cup Final. Psych. Let's get into it with the lead. Top 5 stupidest lead we've ever done on this show. Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday, live from the Sports Closet studio, from jerseys to hats to the legendary foam finger. You'll find it all and more at the Sports Closet. The show's a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. YouTube chat brought to you by Odd Company Brewing, Nation Beer Everyday Lager. A crisp, clean lager crafted not just for game day, but for every day. Load them up, folks. Get them in ya. Only a few more game days left to enjoy a nice, crispy Odd Company Brewing Nation Beer Lager. Tyler and Liam from our studio.
So something not so cool happened last night.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
Does my shirt look as wonky on the YouTube?
Oh, man.
Yeah, a little bit. I can probably change. I'll change in a bit. Welcome into the show. Last year, I mean, listen, I'm dressed like I'm going to media day because I thought I was going to media day.
I did bring a change of clothes.
Yeah.
Hand on the Bible. There is a change of clothes in my car.
Yeah.
What happened? We're asking ourselves the same thing.
We're laughing our way through the pain.
It's been...
I mean, listen, I don't even know, man. Anywho, we did a great job last year at Media Day, I thought. Some of the work I'm most proud of in my career is the articles. I think the work both of us did. Like the articles we wrote from Media Day, I thought were very, very good. Told a story that I don't think anyone else really told.
No, I don't think anyone did.
We were the only people who were doing multiple live shows every day from inside the arena. Our commitment to covering the series, I felt like, was top notch and better than anyone else. We sit here and host what is the most watched Oilers talk show on YouTube.
Daily one.
Monday through Friday. Don't take days off or anything like that. We were told last week, you're good to go. Enjoy covering another great Stanley Cup Final. And the NHL told us late last night that some people involved outside of the NHL and more on the team side didn't want us there, more or less. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, so we're not in, so it sucks. Media days in our city. Team we cover every day is in the Stanley Cup Final. And look at the hundreds of media members who get to be in there today, and we're not in there. So yeah, that's fun.
Yep. Came into work today. Frank Mechanical was here.
Frank Mechanical's in the building.
He goes, "Hey, Liam, how you doing?" I'm like, "Well, Frank, week got a lot lighter."
So about those non-refundable trips to Florida we booked.
If you guys are down in Florida, let us know if you have any plans, because we don't.
Yeah. We're going to fly all the way to Florida. We're going to have to watch the game on TV.
We don't have tickets. Show starts at 2 down there, so we got an extra couple hours to wait.
You guys could play 18 holes before the show.
I might bring my fucking golf clubs now.
I have to. Yeah, this is...
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm like super bummed out about the whole thing.
And I don't want this to come across poorly, but it will. I've never wanted to do a show less than I do today. I was talking to a couple other people downstairs. It's not necessarily the game. The game is fun to go to, of course.
But it's being able to like get the background info and the coverage.
Yeah, and like all that, being around the players and stuff. Feeling legit, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yep.
And the food is also awesome. Last year they had this big donut wall, and it was like Plinko. Plinko? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Plinko.
It was like a big Plinko board. And they just put donuts in over each of the one.
Yep.
It was unreal. That was my favorite part.
That's what we're most disappointed about.
Just like being around people too. Like Jason Demers posted a picture today. He's could have hung out with, that's how we first met JD.
Yep.
As soon as we got in Florida, we opened up the doors and there he was.
Yep.
We'll just go when we're in Florida.
I mean, like, listen, we had a bunch of guests lined up to join us at the rink over the next 4 days here. Not happening. So that sucks, but we're going to continue giving everybody the show that we keep giving everybody, which is the two of us sitting in chairs talking about our Edmonton Oilers. So, yeah, we're not going to let it deter us. We're going to keep on rolling.
It was not Dan Tensa.
No, it was not. No. Again, it's whatever. We cruise along. And
the show goes on.
Our guy Amel's working hard. He's going to try to write this. So,
Boys, it's still a cup year.
Yeah, it's still a cup year. Still a chance we can get in the building. Still a chance. It's just not for today.
Go comment. No, don't.
No, don't do that. No, we're good. We're good on that front. We're not trying to poke the dragon at all. So we are 30 hours away from puck drop between the Edmonton Oilers and Florida Panthers. The Stanley Cup is in the building at Rogers Place right now, Liam. It's starting to feel a little bit more real, right? Like, giddy up. Here we go.
Yeah, today does really feel like the start of things. You almost wish that this happened yesterday and the game was today.
I know, yeah. It feels like it's just one day too long of a carryover.
Yeah, but obviously they wanted one weekend game in Edmonton, which I understand. But it's also the Cup Final. It just feels like it's a Saturday every day at the moment. So, yeah, it's exciting that things have begun. We'll get some good quotes here. One just came out from Stan Bowman saying his first conversation with Connor McDavid was just basically Connor McDavid being like, I want to win. Yeah. All I want is to win a Stanley Cup. So, this team is motivated, to say the least. I actually went back and I was trying to find a specific quote, but I ended up going back watching the presser from McDavid and Draisaitl last season of their exit interview together. And I think it might have been Tony, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but the question was, is there a lot still to take away of like positives of this run and everything like that? And McDavid seemed to give like somewhat of a glowing response, being like, of course, like we made it to as close as we could get without winning the damn thing. Like you learn so many lessons along the way, and like how close the team is able to get, all that stuff. It seems like I'm giving very cliche answers, but it seemed very real from McDavid. And I think you're now feeling that a little bit too, in the sense of like what they did on this run. Like nothing stopped them from getting. No one could prevent them from getting to this point. Now it's just up to them to finish the job. And I think from everything we've heard today so far from Bowman, I'm sure there are a lot more too. And that stuff from last season, like McDavid seems like he will not be denied.
No. I had an interesting text conversation with a friend of the show, Tyler Ennis. We're hoping that we can catch up with Enzo before the end of the season again. And he just kind of said something along the lines of, we're talking about how great it'd be if they could win this year.
Yeah.
I think his phrase was, Oilers need the jug, which
Yes.
I love that. Absolutely love that as just a phrase. But he also said something. He was like, craziest part is they can make this roster even better over the next few years. And that almost is wild. Again, Oilers have not won anything yet. They do not have a ring on their finger. They do not have a Stanley Cup banner up at Rogers Place yet. But it is pretty crazy to look and be like, man, there is a path to them making this roster more and more competitive the next few years. The idea that this is some sort of last hurrah, and if they don't win it this time, they're just not ever going to find a way to get it done.
Yeah.
I don't buy that. Like, if anything, I'm viewing this year and the opportunity to win as like almost the start of a dynasty, man. Like, I think the Oilers can go on a run very similar to what the Florida Panthers are doing right now. I think they can be a team like Tampa Bay and the Chicagos and the LAs. Like, the idea that 29-year-old Leon, 28-year-old Connor, even other guys like a 32-year-old Hyman or Nuge, the idea that the support cast here doesn't have a few more good years left in them. And, the fact you have an Evan Bouchard still, I don't think he's entered his prime yet. I think if he is, he's just getting into there. And like, even Jake Wallman, what a great ad. There's so many pieces here. Stuart Skinner, if this is who the real Stuart Skinner is, like, there's plenty of reasons to sit here with the cap escalating as well and be like, this is the start of like a really, really special run here for the Oilers. Of course, no one wants to talk about that today. We want to talk about the series and the task at hand. But the idea is that, like, I don't think the Oilers or even Oilers fans should be facing any... You're facing pressure, but there shouldn't be any sort of like doom in sight where like, if we don't do it this year, we're never getting it done. I think they could very easily be back here next year or the year after that. Win this one, of course. You need to win this one. But the idea is that, like, I think this team's actually really built for long-term success.
And I also think, too, Bowman has proven this year that he's found the ability to, you can pay the top guys and I can still go out and find the lower-end guys and build the lineup that way. And not to go off on a bit like a trade idea, but like the Oilers did try and get Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah,
Like,
they had theirs.
They're swinging big. Like, they also kind of recognize what's going on here. And someone put in their base divey, like JJ Paterka, like, he's obviously not Mikko Rantanen, but he's still a great player as well. So stuff like that, I think, like you said, gives you a lot of hope that there's plenty of time left for this team to
Totally
get 1, 2, 3, 10.
10. They win 10 straight Stanley Cups.
I think I get bored after 7. Okay, come on. Summer's a big.
Sound like LeBron right now.
I'd be on the floor like this if I was LeBron.
All right. Bruce Curlock's our guest today. Going to be joined by him at 12:20. Just the one guest today because everybody's at Media Day. Fuck. But yeah, we'll have Bruce Curlock on. His tactical previews that he has up at the site are top-notch stuff. So we'll chat with him in a little bit. But for now, Liam, I want to kick it off with, should we maybe do the 10 stats?
Yeah.
I think that's maybe a good place to go here to start the show. 10 big stats are brought to you by Boston Pizza. If you believe in it, it could happen. If we manifest it, the Oilers could win. If we plan it, they will win. Edmonton has a shot at ending the 32-year drought. They're so close. They are 4 wins away. Boston Pizza is here to tell you, believe, manifest, close your eyes. Think about what the parade could be like, because this year we're bringing it home. Also in the YouTube chat, Shooter McGavin, you can stop asking me to golf.
Shooter.
Like, I've seen you put it in there 8 times last 2 days. Probably good.
We're busy. We're in the Cup Final.
Yep, we saw it. Don't worry.
Go ask Nick Alberga. He's free.
Yeah, he's free. Him and Vic can go hit the links with you. All right, 10 big. I got, instead of one big take, Liam, because we've been giving our take a lot here. 10 big stats for Boston Pizza.
Okay.
You ready for this?
You want to alternate? You're just gonna read them all.
I'll read them all and I'll get your take on them. Last year, the Edmonton Oilers had 13 players score a goal during the Stanley Cup Final, while the Panthers actually only had 11.
And of those 13, Draisaitl and Kane and Boucher didn't score one.
Pretty crazy.
That's kind of crazy, actually.
Granted, a lot of that scoring came in like the blowout win, right? The 8-1 win gave them a bunch of different goal scorers. And some of those bigger wins in the series comeback obviously really, really helped. But it's interesting to see the Panthers only had 11 different goal scorers find the back of the net, which is an interesting note you had about their leading goal scorer from last year and what he's doing this year.
Yeah, Evan Rodriguez led this Cup Final with 4 goals. He just scored his first goal, I believe, in Game 5 against Carolina.
And he's been getting big minutes.
Yeah, he's playing top line for them. I believe he's on there. He plays some good power play minutes too. It's kind of crazy to see him not find the success. Your first line power play? Yeah.
It's crazy.
That is nuts, yeah.
Yeah, so there's your second one, is that Evan Rodriguez has gone very quiet after having a great Stanley Cup Final last year for the Florida Panthers. Another one just on how each team's depth is performing so far this season. Both of these teams have had 19 different players score goals for them so far in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
A lot of the production, I believe, of those 19, not a lot, but like the Oilers have got one from every forward, where I believe on Florida they're getting more from like Nate Schmidt, for example. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're getting production from their blue line, not necessarily lower in their lineup. That makes sense.
Yeah, totally. So, again, depth players on both sides been good, but you're right. It's coming in a little bit of different forms for the Edmonton Oilers, and obviously having a guy like Hyman get hurt, Skinner comes in, he finds the back of the net. Like, it's impressive to see the Oilers have continued to roll on, and it's one of the reasons why I think, it's easy to be optimistic about this Oilers team, is just because you're not looking at, okay, we really need Adam Henrique to get going, and then we'll be fine. It's like, well, no, like, Henrique could get going. Brown could get going. Kane could get going. Like, there's just so many different candidates to pick up the ball here.
Yeah, totally. And it's going to be interesting to see if Edmonton can just, like, sustain that offensive depth. Like, I kind of went through, and I maybe we can do this a little bit later on, too. I went through, because it was one of our mailbag questions, thinking about the depth and, like, where is Edmonton better? I think their top 2 lines, Edmonton has the advantage.
Especially considering Kachuk's health.
Yes, and McDavid and Draisaitl just being who they are.
Yeah.
The only clear advantage I think Florida has is on a full line is the third line. That third line is really good.
Very good.
I think all 3 of those players on the third line are all better than the 3 posted on Daily Faceoff right now, which for listeners is Listerainen, Anton Lundell, and Brad Marchand. The other third line is Podkolzin, Janmark, and Arvidsson. I think that's fair, right? Like, should we just go through it quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So Nuge's better than Rodriguez. So
We're doing. We're doing. Remember what that Dallas Stars fan
That's
did?
what I was thinking. So I'd say that's 1-for-1. McDavid obviously better than Barkov. So that's 2-0. Sam Reinhart better than Perry. So 2-1.
Only one of them has a Hart Trophy, but I see what the point you're making.
I said Kane and Verhaeghe just equal it out.
Verhaeghe's not playing good this year,
But
which
he has
changes
4
it.
goals. Kane has 5.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think Verhaeghe is a better player, but right now Kane is playing much better than him. So yeah, I'd be willing to give that to Kane.
Okay. You're giving that to Kane?
Yeah, I'm giving
okay.
Kane. Sure,
so that's the only one I didn't give to Kane when I did. Draisaitl better than Bennett.
Yep.
Kachuk is better than Kapanen.
4-2.
The entire third line, I gave all 3 of them to Florida.
5-4 for Florida now.
Fourth line, all in favor of Edmonton. Which is AJ Greer, Thomas Nosek, and Jona Gadjevic. So that's Jeff Skinner
or Connor
Brown, Henrique, and Trent Frederick.
Yep, I agree with you on that front.
Like, even if you put Kapanen on the fourth line and put Brown on the second, like, it's still Kachuk, and it doesn't change anything. I think that's pretty fair. So what was your final count?
7-5
for the Oilers.
For the Oilers,
and I said one of them was a wash. So yeah. So there you go. And it's just good that Edmonton can counter their big guys quite convincingly. Draisaitl, and this obvious statement coming up. Clip this one, Brad. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are better than every single player on the Florida Panthers.
Really?
And they will counter out everything they have to do it. And this series is going to come down to them. It's up to what those two do to dictate which way this series goes.
Okay. Bruce Curlock's going to be here soon, and we've only read 3 of our 10 fun stats. Shit.
Okay, we'll do 2 more and then we'll come back.
No. We got to see the segment through. It's what Boston Pizza would have wanted.
Sorry, Bruce. You'll have to wait.
You'll have to wait. 4th fun stat. The Oilers' power play was just 12.5% last year in the Stanley Cup Final. Fun for who? Again, a path to them winning this series involves their power play being better than 12.5%.
Yes.
Another path to it, obviously, actually, no, I'll stick on the penalty theme here a little bit. The Oilers have drawn 3 penalties per game so far in these playoffs. Last year, they drew 4 penalties per game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Makes you think, why are they drawing fewer penalties? Why aren't they getting the calls that those good veteran Stanley Cup playoff run. Yeah, well, fair. The Florida Panthers, on that note, they've drawn 4.64 penalties per game, but they're taking 5.27. Undisciplined? Question mark. The Oilers' penalty taken per 60 has gone from 3.77 down to 3.36. So they're getting 1 fewer penalty called against them, but they're getting 0.4 fewer penalties called on them, if that makes any sense.
I think so.
All right, now let me wrap it up with the 3 numbers I had on the goalies.
Here we go.
Sergei Bobrovsky was below a 900 in all 3 Oilers wins in the Stanley Cup Final last year. Solve, Bob. You probably win. Mm-hmm. Stuart Skinner actually had a better save percentage than Sergei Bobrovsky last year in the Cup Final.
It's hard to think, but Stu was actually really solid the entire way. The entire run, that final 2 rounds, he was really good.
And again, if he can give the Oilers that kind of a level, I'd say it's more on the team solving Bob this time around than it is on Stu having to steal one more.
I would think so as well.
Last year, Sergei Bobrovsky through 3 rounds in the playoffs had 7 games where he was below a 900. This year, he also has 7 games where he's below a 900.
I think people forget towards the end of that series from the final 3 games, I guess, more than any of them, Florida could not score a goal. Like the Oilers were shutting them down really well. What was it? 1 goal in game 4. I think the final score in game 5, in game 6.
You mean game 5 was like 8-1
the final
or whatever?
4 games.
Yeah.
So like they just really were able to shut them down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right, shall we continue along with the show? It's 12:20. If we wait till 12:21, Bruce might.
I can't believe we got through 7 stats in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, buddy.
It's pretty impressive.
Best 2 minutes of my life. Let's get out to the Star Mechanical guest line. Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. They've been in the Edmonton area for more than 20 years. You can find out what's made them one of Edmonton's biggest and best locally owned companies by visiting them online at starmechanical.ca. Speaking of best in business, Bruce Curlock's tactical previews that he writes at Oilers Nation are some of the best stuff going. Bruce, thousands and thousands of words. Also, I love that you're rocking a little aloe sweater there to give some love to Connor McDavid. You're checking a lot of boxes here for us. Wait, is he muted?
Oh, no.
Bruce! Is Bruce muted? Can you unmute yourself?
Oh, no.
You got to reset, Bruce. You got to reset the browser. We'll see Bruce in 30 seconds. God, I love having Bruce on the show. But his tactical preview is really good. It's like thousands of words as he breaks down film on what he thinks the Oilers are going to try to do, what makes the Panthers successful, and what they're going to try to do. You should definitely go read it, OilersNation.com. Power ranking 5 best spots to read Bruce's tactical preview.
Number 5, the toilet.
Sure, that would take a long time.
Yeah.
But you never know. I was going to say in the bathtub,
Well,
relaxing, reading Bruce's tactical
number
preview.
4. Number 3, outside on a warm day.
With a cold beer, maybe.
Perhaps, or a Coca-Cola.
As the meme Aaron posted said, all right, Bruce is here. Okay, we can stop doing our list. How's it going, Bruce?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
We got you.
Sorry about that, fellas.
That's all good.
Yes. Wait a minute. I have one question before we start. Sure. Didn't you say you were going to get through 10 stats? And did you only get through 7?
No, we did 7 left.
We had 7 left. We did 3 before you joined the call. So we did get 10. The first 3 were last year the Oilers had 13 players score a goal in the Cup Final while the Panthers only had 11. This year both teams have had 19 different players score goals for them in the playoffs. And there was another one that I forget now.
And then we did the...
Evan Rodriguez sucks now.
Yeah, Evan Rodriguez isn't good anymore. And then we compared the forward groups and figured out that the Oilers have 7 better matchups than Florida.
Yeah, if you go spot by spot, the Oilers win it 7-5. So that's kind of hard-hitting analysis we've been doing.
Love it. I love it.
Speaking of legitimate analysis, your tactical preview, I'll start with this one. How much differently does this Oilers team play than the one last year? Because I would imagine Florida's like pretty similar, right?
Yeah, Florida hasn't changed. I mean, why would you change? You're in your 3rd Stanley Cup, so they're the same. The Oilers... this is really just a function of the defense group as much as anything else. No disrespect to Cody Ceci or Philip Broberg or Vinny Desharnais. But I mean, John Klingberg and Jake Wallman bring a dramatically better and different set of skills to this back end. And that's going to help them a lot against Florida.
Do you ever, and I've done this the last few days, now we've got a bit closer. Do you ever go back and look at that team from last season and think, how did they get to the Cup Final? And that sounds very disrespectful to them, but like you're talking like Cody Ceci was playing top 4 minutes. We had to throw Philip Broberg into the deep end and hope he could swim. Vincent Desharnais was in games. And
Sam Carrick played a Cup Final game.
Yeah, like Derek Ryan was playing 6 minutes a night. And it's just like, how that's not happening anymore.
Yeah, and how about Leon Draisaitl playing with one arm?
Yeah, there's another. Right? Kane didn't play.
He didn't. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Draisaitl scored in last season's Stanley Cup. 7 games. That's it's ridiculous. So yes, I do. I do go back. I mean, the fact is that Connor McDavid was the MVP, and Connor McDavid is the reason that the team went as far as they did. No doubt about it.
Of all the reasons, I want to stick with maybe more of like the tactical side of things here. Like, do you think there's a chance Edmonton maybe like almost stuns Florida a little bit with how well they can move the puck? Like, because I don't know how much you paid attention to the East, but like, has Florida had to face a team they're as good at moving the puck as Edmonton?
So I don't know if they'll stun them, but this is for certain the best defense group that Florida has played in the playoffs in terms of a defense group, period, but also from specific skill sets like passing and skating with the puck. I mean, this is 1 to 7. I'll include Troy Stetcher in this. This is the best defense group Florida is going to play, and that will be a challenge for their forecheck.
How would you line up the blue line? Would you go with the way they went in Game 5, or would you shake things up a little bit?
No, I would stay with what it is. The lightning rod pair is going to be Kurlock and Nurse, no question about it. And there is some risk in that pair, not so much from the standpoint of, whether they can play well together, because I think they kind of proved that against Dallas in Game 5 that they can do that. They had a couple of rough spots to start. But it's more along the lines of what I'd highlighted previously with, Brett Kulak on his offside. He struggles. And when you have this type of aggressive forecheck, and I mean, this is not anything that the Oilers have seen, so we can say that Florida hasn't seen this type of defense, but the Oilers have not seen this type of forecheck either. you worry a little bit about that from the perspective of whether Brett Kulak can successfully retrieve and exit the puck.
Yeah, that is the one pairing for me that you kind of said it, the one that's maybe looks a bit risky. I just, they make me nervous, but then you look at the numbers at the end of the game and it's like, oh, maybe I was just getting nervous for no reason. Like, I don't know, like in game 5, there were so many points where I'm sitting there and I'm like, Nurse and Kulak look like a tire fire. And then you look and they barely gave up any chances. So it's like, okay, maybe I'm just overreacting.
Yeah, yes. I mean, again, they have this outsized impact on the game when they make a mistake, right? That's what it seems like. And again, I highlighted it that, they were up 3-0 and Brett Kulak makes an absolutely not a great play. Let's put it that way. And all of a sudden it's 3-1. And when those plays go in the back of your net, you kind of get this mentality that the pairing wasn't good. But really, other than one other shift in the entire game, I mean, they were really solid. And so, that's one of those eye test, analytics test things that we talk about all the time. But this will be a little bit different challenge. And, where I think you can see them getting some support is from their center group. And if with a healthy Draisaitl and McDavid being all world like he has been, I think if those centers are low, centers help on the retrieval and the exit, I think that pairing should be okay. I don't think it's going to be great. I think there's going to be some bad moments for them, but I just don't think you would move this 6 around to start the series.
Connor Brown is supposedly going to come back into the lineup tomorrow night as well, although he is out of media day with illness. So stay tuned, folks. We'll see what happens. What would you do? Like, I think the obvious answer is Jeff Skinner, but now he's like Victor Albertson in the conversation. Those guys, to their credit, have made it difficult to make a decision, I think, too, of where you want to put Brown in.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with that point. I mean, this is a great problem to have. I mean, that the Oilers are that deep that they're putting guys up in the press box that, 50% of the fan base thinks should be in and 50% thinks it should be out. That's a great thing. In terms of the setup to start the series, if Brown can go, Brown needs to play for 2 reasons. The first of which is the penalty kill, which him and Janmark had a really big impact on this series last year. And, I think there's potential for that again this year, watching Florida's power play. The other part to it is, I've talked about the defense and retrievals and exiting. Well, the next group in this that's going to see a lot of pressure is the wingers on the wall. And Connor Brown has been there. He's lived this. He understands what's coming. Victor Arvidsson doesn't, and neither does Jeff Skinner. And I just think you have to go with what A has gotten you there, but B also has the experience from last season.
I mean, listen, it's another 7 games here potentially in the playoffs. There is no guarantee, and I even see people saying, like, no, I want Stetcher, and like, at the end of the day, you're probably going to need to still dip into that 7th defenseman at some point and dip into that 13th forward. Like, the lineup you go with in game 1 is not going to be the lineup that just bing, bing wins you 4 straight and you're out of here, right?
No, I think that's right. I mean, I could see them playing 11-7 in games. I mean, I just think that, we're June, what are we, June 4th when this starts. I mean, these guys have been playing since September. Like, bumps and bruises take their toll. I think guys are going to come in and out of the lineup during this cup run.
I want to pick your brain on Adam Henrique because I'm always I'm fascinated is maybe like not the right word to use, but there are games where he feels like just such a zero to me. Then there's games where I'm like, wow, what a contribution this guy's making, like away from the puck and all this. What have you made of Adam Henrique as of late? And I guess just maybe even just in that Dallas series in the last 5 games.
I really liked him in the Dallas series. Yeah. I think the big thing with Adam Henrique is that he's 35 years old. He has, less quantities in the tank than he did before when he was younger. And so he has to pick his spots. And I think, what we saw, or what I saw anyways, in the Dallas series was a guy who decided that, look, I mean, that line may not score, which it actually did. But what's going to be certain is this line, we're not going to get scored on. So he played a very responsible F3 in all three zones. He was strong down low in his zone, helped his defense, made smart plays in the neutral zone. I think he just decided that that was going to be the role he took. And the other part to this that I think, again, emphasizes the link between defense and forward is, when that line had Wallman and Klingberg with them, as opposed to, say, Nurse and Kulak, that line was really effective. And that's a, testament really to Klingberg and Wallman's ability to retrieve, exit, get the puck up the ice. And that helps Henrique too, right? I think, again, the expectation should be just don't get scored on that line. And that, I think that is a big story in this series, because that Florida third line, which had some wobble against Carolina, so not what it was in the first couple of rounds, but that third line for Florida is going to be a real threat to the Oilers.
I want to tell you about the penalty kill. I feel like in game one against Dallas, I went back and watched it a few times. I think it was more overblown and just like circumstances of what really happened. They just executed perfectly. And in the last two games, they obviously got goals, but I feel like it's not as bad as people are making it out to be.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with the penalty kill is when it starts poorly, in a smaller sample size like the playoffs, it's always going to look bad. I didn't think it was bad against Dallas, quite frankly. I think there was an opportunity for a save in game one, I think it was. Yeah. That didn't happen. I think there were some saves that were made later in the series that, that's what you expect in your penalty kill. I think it's fine so you run Henrique and Nugent Hopkins. You've got Brown and Janmark, and then you're running McDavid. And the part in there that I find intriguing and I think should be something they look to is bringing McDavid into that a little bit more, and maybe perhaps up the rotation, because he was really effective.
Yeah, I love the Connor McDavid thing on the penalty kill, and I just think that has like game-breaking possibilities to it. And this is going to be obvious, but I don't think he's going to make mistakes that are that big that he's just going to instantly be costing you goals. Like the upside of McDavid, and it's almost like if your penalty kill is like a change-up speed, it's just like a fastball with Connor McDavid that you throw out there, and I think it just puts the other team on their heels.
Well, 100% it does. And I think you could actually see that have a bigger impact against Florida, because they run a bit of a unique power play in that they'll run two defensemen to start, right? They run Aaron Ekblad and Seth Jones with the first unit. And then the second unit comes out and goes to a 4-forward 1D group, which has Nate Schmidt on the back end. So if you time that right and McDavid comes out in the last minutes, last 40, 50 seconds of the power play, he likely gets Nate Schmidt and four forwards. And I think that's an excellent matchup for him in terms of not just defending, but attacking.
Yeah.
Like Maynard just put in our chat then too, is I'm worried about the shot blocking stuff. But if you watch him, he's not exactly like standing in lanes waiting for shots to come. He's right on top of guys and trying to strip pucks.
It's also the Stanley Cup Final, so roll the dice.
Exactly, yeah. It's
so I think that's a valid point if he's up against Seth Jones and Aaron Ekblad, because their primary focus on the power play is to sift the puck through. But most of that is wrist shot based. Nate Schmidt is not a shooter. So Nate Schmidt is going to distribute the puck side to side, and then he's going to sift the wrist shot through looking for a deflection. Yes, a fluke can happen. Zach Hyman getting hit in the wrong spot on a a hit from Mason Marchand. Stuff like that happens, but I just don't think you can assume that's going to happen. And if anything, I would look at this and say, this isn't Evan Bouchard or Jake Wallman winding up with these 1T clappers that are coming in at 98 miles an hour.
Yeah, totally. Last area I kind of wanted to touch on with you. The idea of Kane and Kapanen being Draisaitl's wingers. I think in the regular season, that maybe would have made me a little nervous. Like, I know the defensive metrics weren't great on Kapanen, and Kane, we know, can kind of fade in and out sometimes with defensive efforts. But I look at it now, and the zone that Leon Draisaitl's in, I feel like it's fine because Draisaitl's playing at such a high level. Do you like that second line, or does it make you nervous?
Well, I like it, but I like it for one big reason, and it's simply that's a line that has the size and physicality to match the Bennett line, which I presume will be one of the key matchups in the series. And I just think the Bennett line can be exposed, and I think those three players are all big. They all skate well. They're hard on the body, hard on the forecheck, including Leon Draisaitl. And I think that line has a chance to really create some different matchups for the Oilers. And I look forward to watching them.
Yeah, should be great. Give the people your prediction. How do you think this series plays out?
I like the Oilers in 6. I think it would have been an easier prediction with Zach Hyman in the lineup, and I think some people in the national media are going to get surprised by this Oiler team.
Just like they were surprised by the Oilers against Dallas, and just like they were surprised against them against Vegas, and just like they were surprised against them against LA.
Yeah, and just like I was surprised when I heard someone on this broadcast reads my tactical preview in the bathtub.
Bubble bath, glass of wine, good? Bruce Curlock. Come on.
Candles.
Come on, Bruce. Come on. All right, enjoy the Cup Final, Bruce.
I'm going to have to scrub that from my mind. Have a great day, guys.
Yeah, see you, Bruce. I should have asked. I'll text him. I wonder if Bruce is going to be in Florida. He can come to the beach house. Well, it's a couple minutes from the beach, but.
People are going to be.
Oh, great.
Good pull. That's a good pull,
Tyler,
right?
that was unreal.
Bruce was unreal, though. Thank you to
What's
Bruce.
that from?
There's this Jaguars fan in like an old training camp video. It's like an on the street interview, and they're like, "How do you feel about the Jags this year?" And they go like, "Well, I was staying at my beach house." And Aaron, can you find it?
It's a couple minutes from the beach.
Yes, you can find the video on YouTube. It's so funny. Just as the readers scrub themselves, Mulek says, "Whoa, getting me in the mood. Make it into an audiobook, Bruce." We should just get Bruce. We should get Bruce to just record himself reading it.
That would be nice.
I'd fall asleep.
What's your top 2? Where you would read a tactical analysis.
Bruce is coming to Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought reading it on the Florida beaches would be nice.
The beach would be nice. Maybe that can be number 2. Number 1.
At the bar with Bruce?
Bruce reads it to you.
Yeah, Bruce reads it to you at the elbow room. There you go.
I'll buy my alligator pool. You know we're going to have to look for alligators.
Yeah, you're going to have to go out there and inspect every morning.
No, we actually will.
No, Liam.
No, like when you open the pool, you'll have to check.
You'll see them.
And that's what I mean. Like, don't just jump in. Like, oh, cannonball. You get down there, you ride an alligator. Crazy stuff, Florida. I don't think you realize how dangerous it is down there.
Bruce keeps saying, "I'm happy to meet up." Bruce, no, you're coming to us, beach house.
This is a few minutes away.
A few minutes from.
It's a few minutes from the beach.
We do have a great spot.
We do have
There's
a great
lot,
spot.
and like I know we're gonna go to the elbow room, but I feel like people are definitely coming to us. We have a tent in the house and a ping pong table.
Ping pong table that is this wide.
It's essentially an ironing board.
Yeah, they put a cloth and a ping pong net on.
And there's also a poke table in there.
All right. What else should we do?
Bruce was also brought to us by.
Oh, yeah. Bruce Curlock on the Star Mechanical guest line. He is also brought to you. Good job, Aaron. By our friends over at Tourism Jasper. Your best summer memories aren't behind you. They're waiting for you this summer in Jasper. Drive over because Jasper is open, vibrant, and ready to welcome you back for more unforgettable moments. Hiking trails, paddling wild waters, sharing Lost by the Fire. Happiness finds you here. Plan your trip, jasper.travel/summer. Star Mechanical, Tourism Jasper, Bruce Curlock. That's the big 3. That's my big 3. We didn't ask him about Ruby Jarventi. That's weird. I thought he signed a 3-year deal in Finland.
He did. But then I was reading a little bit too. So the only way he was able to get out of it is if he re-signed in Edmonton. So he signed a 1-year, 2-way deal.
Did it have to be in Edmonton?
No, it's a 2-way deal.
I know, but I'm saying
Signed
like,
for Edmonton, I guess. So
could this be a sign and trade?
No, I doubt it.
Like he was only getting out of his deal if the contract was with Edmonton.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, perhaps.
Maybe that's not even
775,000. He is only like 22, 23, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
it's fine. I mean, add some depth, right?
Yeah,
Again,
that's what it is. We were happy when we got it. I don't know a lot about him, but we were happy when we got him. Based Ivy put in the chat too. Bob, our friend Bob, who we were going to hang out with him today, but things came up. Was talking about Sam O'Reilly potentially playing for the Oilers next season,
Hell yeah.
which would be unreal. You know, so we'll see. Sam O'Reilly had a great season with London. I think he had 71 points in however many games it was, third in the team in scoring. We'll see. I think he'll probably end up playing on the World Juniors team next year too, but the Oilers have a great prospect there. A guy who's not that far away from playing NHL games.
Him, Savoy, again, like we
Bo
talked,
Akey, like people do forget about him.
but like we talked about extending this window longer and that this isn't the end and the tail end of the Oilers Stanley Cup possibilities. Yeah. If you talk about the idea that like, hey, eventually Nuge is going to take a step back and you might need to trade Evander Kane this summer and Hyman maybe won't be the 30, 40 goal guy he is right now. The point is, as those guys, you know, their value diminishes, you have a Matt Savoy who maybe grows into be a 30-goal guy. You have a Sam O'Reilly who maybe turns out to be a great high-end third-line center, like an Anton Lundell type, right?
Yeah, totally. There's a lot of promise with the prospect group. As small of a pool as it is, there's some strong players there.
Mm-hmm. Shutdown center, won the OHL twice, just won a Mem Cup, saw him snapping pucks back in the face-up circle. He might steal Philp's job. But like that's the thing. He doesn't have to steal Philp's job. You can have them both.
Yeah, you can have both.
It's depth, right?
Yeah, yep. Philp's going to be interesting. I
don't know if they'll bring him back.
I worry that he's Matt Phillips. Remember that guy on the Flames? That everyone was like, how is this guy not on the team? And they never played him. Signed in Washington. And like, I can't believe the Oilers lost. The Flames lost him. I hope he's not, obviously. And he's looked good in his appearances, but we'll see.
Yeah, totally. Okay, a couple more things I want to get to today. Let's do a Short Ford Giant question for our friends at Short Ford the Giant and the Nation Valet Service. Never visit the dealership again for routine car maintenance because Short Ford the Giant with Nation Valet Service comes to your house or place of work, picks up your vehicle, drives it out to Sherwood Park, does all the work that needs to be done, and drives it on back to you. It's like your vehicle never left, and you never need to be stuck waiting around in a waiting room or getting a ride, leaving your vehicle. Don't worry about it. They got you covered at Sherwood Ford the Giant. All right, I want you to give me, Liam, Giant question. What are 3 things that must happen if the Edmonton Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup?
3 things that have got to happen. Okay.
Must happen.
They have to be consistent in their special teams. And by that, I don't mean it has to be perfect every night.
Yeah.
But if you allow a penalty kill, you got to counter it with a power play goal. Draisaitl.
So you're saying special teams break even?
Yeah.
Okay.
Break even. I think 5-5 you can win this series. But you need to, you know what I'm saying. Draisaitl has to score.
Yeah.
Which will also help the power play. Like you
Those
said,
two kind of go hand in hand.
I do remember points in last season, like he was trying to shoot and he just couldn't. He just had nothing left. And I think Stuart Skinner. I am not expecting a shutout every night, and I know sometimes it's not going to be pleasant to watch. Like the Jason Robertson goal, for example, is one that you won, but like you just can't allow that twice a game. You know what I mean? I just need him again. Like I feel like if this Oilers team can stay consistent and level-headed with themselves, I truly believe this is their series to lose. I really do. And I know how good Florida is.
I know.
But I just think if the Oilers' big guys can show up, both of them, then I don't see how they can lose unless everything else implodes around them.
Yeah.
Which I just don't think it will.
So my 3, and I'm trying to think of things that kind of just have a bit of a ripple effect, but like start below your own goal line, right? We talked about this with Louis last week towards the end of the Dallas series. If the Oilers from below their own goal line are clean and it's a clean first pass and out of the zone you go, clean first pass, you're attacking with speed, that changes everything. Totally. And it means you're not making mistakes. It means you're not giving Florida second chance opportunities. When you have a chance to get the puck out, you get the puck out. When you have a chance to get things moving the other way, you don't blink, you don't think twice, the puck goes the other way. And if you do that, you're not going to give up that many high danger looks, and Stuart Skinner's life is going to be easier.
Yeah.
So clean below your own goal line is absolutely check number one for me. Number two, I had both Connor and Leon need to be dominant. Because if both Connor and Leon are dialed in, that means the power play is going to be dialed in. And that means let's say there's on average 48 5-on-5 minutes in a hockey game, right? Mm-hmm. If Connor's getting 19 of those minutes and Leon's getting 19 of those minutes, if those two guys are dominant, listen, I'm not good at math, but that's 38 of the 48 5-on-5 minutes where you are dominating the other team. So again, having those two guys just be at their peak supernova level, it is the Oilers' biggest strength. As much as, again, we love the blue line and how well it's moving the puck. We love the depth. We love how Stu's playing. The heartbeat, the soul of this team, 97 and 29. If they are at their absolute best, they are unmatched. They cannot be touched or caught. Those two are absolutely on my list as something that needs to happen. So I had play below the goal lines. I had the McDavid and Draisaitl effect. And number three, I'll say this. You need to get off to a good start this year.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that we're probably going to hear a ton about at Media Day. And it's almost an obvious one because it's like, the Oilers are on home ice. They won't go down early, but it's not a given, right? Like, it's absolutely not a given. So you need to be ready to go out of the gates in this series, because I do think there's a chance where if you can get up 2-0 and go into Florida, I think you can eventually get the Florida Panthers going, holy shit, we are running low on fumes here. They've played a lot of hockey.
They've played a lot of hockey over the last few years. And, of course, we all saw it with Toronto going into Florida up 2-0. But let's just put this on record. The Toronto Maple Leafs are not close to what the Edmonton Oilers
and
are.
they took him to 7.
And they took him to 7. They failed big time. I just don't see that implosion from Edmonton. Nope. We haven't seen it this entire run besides those first 2 games. And since then, it has been smooth sailing. Sounds like it's been easy, and I don't think it has been an easy run. But they've been able to take of business consistently enough that I'm very comfortable with how they are going into this. I'm trying to find. Let me find it here. I'll do it after.
Yeah. And Bo says it, our boy. He says, I highly doubt we go down 0-3 this year. And listen, I agree with you, knock on wood. To be in fairness now to what I was saying, we also last year, if someone would have been like, hey, the Oilers are going to go down 3-0 to the Florida Panthers, we would have been like, you're insane. This is going to be a tight, hard-fought series, right? So I do think there's a path. We were talking about this before the show. Is it insane to think that the Oilers go up 2-0 in this series and win both home games?
No, it's not insane.
Is it insane to think they split the games in Florida?
No, they've lost once at home. And
they scored on themselves.
They scored on them. Again, I've said this numerous times. The only team that can beat the Edmonton Oilers is themselves.
Yeah,
and they literally did it that night.
And we've seen it time and time again in these playoffs. Edmonton at A+, other team at A+, Edmonton wins the hockey game.
Big time.
So
I still have my spin zone from yesterday. The Oilers are 3-1 in their last 4 playoff games against the Panthers.
yeah,
That is true.
That's stats are facts.
The stat I was trying to look up was how Barkov did against McDavid last season. Yep. So he played against him in 43 minutes at 5-on-5. They were goals for 1, goals against 1. McDavid outshot Barkov on the ice 21-20. So it was a very, very tight check-in for him. But McDavid played most against Aaron Ekblad in the finals defensively and Forsland. 70 minutes against Ekblad. McDavid outscored him 5-0.
so a big reason for that is because Aaron Ekblad's really overrated.
Forsling 2, he outscored him 4-2.
Forsling's really good. I Forsling.
think he's taken a step back this year, if I'm not
And
mistaken.
Mikkel has been the guy who's really stepped forward.
Yeah, so he's kind of countered, I guess you could say.
Apologies again today for my sniffling. I thought my plugged up nose was a little bit better today. It's not.
McDavid against Sam Bennett, 5-0 also. Also, Kachuk did not score a goal last series against McDavid.
See, but that's what I mean, where Connor was so good.
And just nobody else was.
And no one else was. If Leon can be at those numbers on your screen, if Leon can be at that level,
yeah.
Man, you're taking half the game and just shoving everything into Edmonton's direction in that half of the game. And then you do special teams, and now we're at 75% of the game where it's just all Edmonton. It's even if that third line wants to be great, good, whatever, for Florida, I'm saying, okay, but if the first 2 lines are beating the shit out of the Panthers and the power play gives them an advantage more often than not, I don't know. I really do see a path to the Oilers winning this series in 5 games.
There's a path. I think it's 6, but I do think there's a path. I'm not going to write them off like I wrote off Dallas.
And that's fair. You don't want to push your luck twice with that. You
maybe, yeah.
You made
You've been
quite
shooting
the
from
bet.
the hip.
Yeah, I came out. I came out on top, and I'm going to stay there.
Yeah. That's that is probably fair. Anyways, we got some comments here for our Sherwood Ford Giant question. Mulick says the Oilers are going to have the Panthers chasing like chickens with their heads cut off. Our defense moves the puck so well. Bunkin says continue playing with poise and that unshakable demeanor they've played with all playoffs. Let's go Oilers.
Thank you, Bunkin. First time commenter, I believe.
Bob says this chat has pretty much the same number of live chat people as the NHL Media Today stream right now.
Wow.
Corey Perry from Media Today, by the way, says he has not thought for 1 second about retiring, and he won't be doing that this summer. He will play a 21st season.
Liar.
You think? No, there's no way he's lying.
No, he's probably not. I mean, hey, I take
Like
Corey
if he
Perry.
was
No pay raise, though. Come on, Corey.
but if he was in any way like lying or whatever, he would have just said like, hey, I'm focused on the Cup Final. I'm going to think about my future when the time comes. But for him to be like, I'm playing next year already when he has a chance to win the Stanley Cup, that means he is going to play next year.
Anything else come out yet?
There was a little bit of a quote from McDavid. Honestly, nothing that crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to ask him about his contract.
I bet you someone will, and I bet you he'll be like, I don't want to talk about it.
If
Jeans to media day for Corey Perry.
And brought his kid.
You think that guy's
Also,
retiring?
they
Come
are in
on.
the downtown rink.
Yeah.
Looks
They
like,
really doll it up in there. It's awesome.
looks like fun.
I was going to ask Jeff Skinner if he would consider resigning in Edmonton. That was one of my list of questions. Like, I wanted to ask this, but I don't want to save it. I can save it, but I can do it right now since we're in a show for
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have nothing.
We have nothing to talk about.
Well, not nothing to talk about. We have nothing to save our questions for. We're not
That's
getting
true.
in.
Why wait? It's a cup. If they win, do you just try and bring everyone back?
Nah.
Like, I know last year they really changed things, but I wonder if it's just like, let's run it back. Go again. Like, I think the only player really in consideration.
Arvidsson won't be an Oiler next year.
So here's a fun one. Would you bring back Skinner over Arvidsson?
Yeah, because I think Skinner would be cheaper.
I think he'd be cheaper. I think he's better.
I think he's better.
It's an interesting because like John Klingberg, obviously a guy. Bouchard, we're going to bring him back. Trent Frederick, this guy I would bring back. Connor Brown, UFA. Kasperi Kapanen, UFA. Corey Perry just said he's coming back. Nothing in Edmonton, but
Yeah.
I think it is an interesting conversation because of last year, how much change they did make. And I think it really disrupted the group for the bulk of the year. If they're just like, hey, like, we won, knock on wood, let's bring everyone back and go again.
I think a guy like Evander Kane, like I think he's back if they win.
I think so. I think he's back, period. I do think I think it's good now. And maybe it's just a small sample size, but hey, we've seen it great. He's been great.
Great year. Yeah.
We were wrong.
The idea that you could get one more good year out of him, it's not as far-fetched as I maybe thought it was 4 months ago.
Yeah.
But I think Arvidsson likely goes, and that's because they're gonna need to free up some amount of financial flexibility, win or lose, right? Because if Bouchard's getting 10, that means you only have $2 million in cap space. But like if you can get rid of Arvidsson, all of a sudden you have $6 million. And that's with Bouchard signed and 7 D-men under contract, which is awesome. Your goalies are under contract, great. $7 million. That can get you Frederick back in the lineup to give you a 12th forward or an 11th forward with Arvidsson out. That could get you Connor Brown back, and there's your 12 forwards, and you could probably still have $1 million for Corey Perry. Like, again, I actually don't feel like they need, because remember, they signed Tomasek. They have Max Jones on the roster here, so maybe he gets swapped out for someone. But
Max.
I think the forwards that come back out of the 5 UFAs, again, way too early to say this. I could see Kapanen coming back on a 1-year deal.
I would love Kapanen back. $1 million again.
So, again, if you were to trade Arvidsson and have Max Jones start in the minors, that would be 9 forwards. Perry's 10, Brown's 11, Kapanen's 12, Frederick's 13. Is that your forward group next year, those 13 guys? No room for Savoy, Philp, or O'Reilly in that scenario, but we're getting ahead of ourselves, too. We don't need to be talking about this now.
Let things play out in camp.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We have a lot of summer shows we still need to do, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got a super chat.
Yeah, we had a couple, but one of them I don't know if you can read, but it was
I always bring it back to the Raptors for running it back. That whole team was motivated. They want to do it. They're waiting on one dude. doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They all go everywhere else.
Yeah, that's fair.
And if they did run it back, that team was so
It was
good.
good. One of them's back in the finals this year.
We got a couple super chats. Jonathan said Flames Nation has been calling Rogers Place. Oh, I'm not reading that. That's terrible.
Cup, yeah.
Yep, yeah.
I can't believe Flames Nation's been calling it that. That's so rude.
They got to get views somehow.
Wildly sexy. Okay. Gas the Bird said $30. Cold Performer of the Week. Disrespect. I love the comment. I'll leave it at that. It goes to the Ben Stelter Foundation. It goes to a great cause. Keep up the good work, he says. Thank you, Gas the Bird. We acknowledge your comment. We appreciate you. We appreciate everyone in the chat who's kind of, said their support for us. It sucks. Again, should have been there today. We're not.
I think Shooter McGavin is Doug White.
I was already thinking that. I was
you're
already
so
thinking that.
right.
I've come to this conclusion. Shooter, I put you in a 5-minute timeout and you come back and you've been sensible. You've contributed to
Which
the
is
chat.
classic Doug.
Which is
classic Doug White behavior.
So I'm on to you. I'm going to let it slide, but I
Yep.
don't just think you're
See how
getting
horny
around.
Shooter McGavin gets in here, and we'll know
Where's
that.
Sadistic Angel? See what happens when she gets in here.
Yeah.
I'm on to you, Shooter.
All right. Let's continue along. Let's do what's trending for our friends at Douglas Mattresses today. I'm sleeping. This is actually crazy. 2 friends of mine, Ian and Greg, both in the last week, have come up to me and been like, hey man, do you actually sleep on a Douglas? And I was like, yes, I do. I send them the link, douglas.ca/Oilersnation. I say, it's great value. I said, I sleep on the original. That's the one I'm on. But they have a couple of different options. Told Ian, I said, listen, it's legit. And if you don't like it, you have like a year basically to decide you don't like it. They'll take it back at no cost, donate it to a local charity. But again, starts at $599. Free shipping across Canada through their convenient mattress in a box delivery. Shout out to Douglas Mattresses, a locally owned Edmonton company. It all started here, and it's become Canada's best mattress. Check them out, douglas.ca/nation. I'll get both Greg and Ian to report back.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. Shout out to them. What's trending, Liam? We got time to do this today because, again, we only have the one guest today on the show. The idea of a potential Jonathan Toews return to the NHL. So here's what I find interesting about this. And I've kind of talked about this loosely a little bit before. But remember Gabe Landeskog was getting ready to come back. And everybody was like, oh, man, get ready. Gabe Landeskog is going to give the Avs such a big boost. His last regular season was 2021-22. He had 59 points in 51 games. He was obviously a point-a-game player. It was incredible. But 2021-2022 was his last regular season. Won the Cup that year. Almost had to retire, but he's back. Jonathan Toews played the year after that.
Yes.
He played in 2022-2023. He finished with 31 points in 53 games. I'm going to do math here on my calculator.
There we go.
31 divided by 53 times 82. That's a 48-point pace. He was a 48-point player in his final regular season. He's been gone for a couple of years. Obviously, that he probably isn't a 55, 60-point guy. He's probably a 40, 45-point guy, I think, at his best. But if everything we've been reading about Jonathan Toews is true, and he just wants to play for a contender, and he wants a chance to win, wouldn't you be interested in him this summer?
I mean, I think I would have interest. It really just depends where the team's at. And
You're out, Aaron?
I'm so out.
Really?
I don't need another old dude on this roster.
Like, imagine the
Like
bottom.
you just talked about what that forward group would look like. I'm not putting Jonathan Toews in there.
Imagine Henrique and Toews. That's probably too slow.
Yeah, what if there's a world where you can trade off
And
Henry?
Perry. But would you rather have Henrique or Toews?
Rico.
I think Rico too.
Probably Rico, yeah.
I think I'm Tom out. Perry or Toews for me. That's how you do it, and it's Perry.
Oh, but what if you had both of them?
Then you are literally
The all nostalgia line.
slowest-
Sign Patty Kane.
God.
No.
You can't do it. If they were in a different spot, like I know a couple of years ago, this kind of came up too.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I love Jonathan Toews. Patrick Kane, unreal player as well. I know people have mentioned him. Let someone else figure him out. I don't bring in another problem unless he's like $900, $900,000.
He would be, though.
Wow, we all thought that about Klingberg. All of a sudden,
Fair.
we're paying 1.8. So we'll see. It's a bit too much, bit too slow for me.
Okay.
Good player, great career, Hall of Famer, obviously. But
NCAA getting some big name CHL players. We touched on this loosely yesterday. There's been no news on the McKenna front and all that.
No, nothing new. He'll visit some schools. Sounds like Penn State, Michigan State, and Michigan will be the big three. Mm-hmm. I really wonder when like these Minnesota schools are going to start getting some kids from the north, especially the Western players. Like these Manitoba guys. It's
so
lot
easy,
it's right there. Some place in Manitoba. There's some of the cities down there, towns, whatever we call them, are closer than Winnipeg to get to where some of these university teams.
Like we talked about Brock Nelson. He's from Minnesota, but he's from Minnesota. No, he's from Minnesota, the state of Minnesota.
Winnipeg was closer to his home than wherever.
Minneapolis.
Yes. So I think that would be interesting. Keaton Verhoff and Cole Reshney, obviously both going down to North Dakota. That is incredible stuff. It's interesting because I don't think the teams like the Oil Kings will be that affected by this, and Calgary's, Red Deers, and stuff like that, because the travel's good. But you look at Victoria, it's like you're kind of out there. You're literally on an island. You're out there missing it. So I think those teams get affected. Keaton Verhoff.
He's going to go number 2 overall next year, isn't he?
He's an unbelievable player. He was a goalie.
Until he was like 12. He played in the Brick tournament as a goalie.
As a goalie, yeah. He's like, I think his first year of Bantam was only his like second or third year playing defense, and he was the best player on that Fort Saskatchewan team. Unreal.
Can you imagine his parents after spending all that thousands of dollars on goalie gear for the first like 7 years of his life, 8 years of his life, and then they just put him at defense and he's amazing, and they're like, "Are you shitting?"
Yeah,
he'll give them the money back now that he's going second overall in the NHL draft next year. But
totally. So yeah, he's I think people are really worried about what the CHL is going to become. I've been kind of thinking about this a little bit too, and I think that the draft eligible players will go the year after they get drafted.
Yeah.
But then that just gives the players who will be draft eligible the next year when all those players are gone more ice time, more time to showcase themselves. I think it actually becomes quite beneficial for the NHL that these younger guys are now just going to play more minutes. And you can argue that like maybe the older guys will take it. I think those guys are going to get pushed out of the league and end up in junior A and stuff like that. And the way that I'm in the Western League now, the way you're able to recruit U.S. players is greater than it's ever been before. I think the CHL is in a great spot.
Sorry.
All good.
Maybe it's a good thing we didn't go to media day. I would have gotten everybody sick.
Oh, I know. You love to hug people, too, though.
I know. I was always in there hugging players. Just kidding. All right. What else is trending? Well, not that one. That note can get deleted. Do we have the Connor Brown interview about him being in a cabinet?
I sure do.
You guys know we played it a couple weeks ago. Connor Brown hid in a cabinet ahead of the Oilers lineup. Reed popped out, got the boys fired up. He did an interview about that. Here's that.
Whose idea was it to hide in the cupboard there?
Actually, our video guy E did that during the regular season. We had a little winning streak, and he was coming up with stuff. So I took that one out of his book. Thought I'd get the boys going a bit.
So how far in advance did you have to get in there, and how long were you waiting?
I was in there at like the 8-minute mark with the thing, so it's like 20 plus minutes
you were
in there.
In the cupboard for 20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 plus minutes. There's a little room really. I had my phone in there, a little cushion, so I wasn't too bad.
Surfing Twitter or the web? Or where
Yeah, I was texting Harry. he was giving me the lineup, so I had to memorize it. Yeah, he was giving me a play-by-play of what was going on out there.
You're not close.
I love him, man. He's such a good Oiler.
Yeah.
I really hope he's back next year.
I think he will be, for sure.
I just think some guys love being here too. Like we're getting to that point, right? Where we saw Yanni Gord sign a 6-year, $2.3 million extension the other day, and like, listen, not that I want to give Connor Brown a 6-year deal, but I do wonder if there's not a world where like Connor Brown comes in at like 3 years by $2 million.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's a guy that, you look at what Janmark did last season, and I mean, like, was he going to get 3 years anywhere else? Probably not. Nope. But maybe he could have got 1 year, like 2.5.
But like, if another contender is like, hey, Connor Brown, we're going to give you 2 by 2.5. It's $5 million over 3 years. If Edmonton goes, $5 million over 2 years. If Edmonton goes, hey, we'll give you 3 by 2, 3 by 1.9, and he goes, okay, well, that's $5.7 million over 3 years. Like, yeah, no, I'll take that deal. Like, I'll take a little bit more guaranteed money and a chance to, again, continue running it back here. But I really want to see Connor Brown be an Oiler again. I'm going to ask you a very, very difficult question. Maybe it's not difficult, actually. You can only bring back, let's say the cost is even the same. You can only bring back one of Connor Brown or Trent Frederick next year.
Connor Brown or Brown?
I think I'm Team Brown, too.
Although I do love Frederick. I
Team
just
Brown.
think I think a full year of Frederick, you get a lot different of a player.
And if you can offload Arvidsson,
bring them both back.
you can bring them both back.
I hope Frederick wants to stay.
Me too.
And I in the sense of like, I think he probably would have learned that he can give more to this team. He was just hurt and it was very unfortunate circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to address Tyler Miller's comment, but I'm all good. He just said, I always say, well, now that I mentioned it. CHL needs to go towards a National Development League type of development.
Yeah.
I would strongly disagree. I think those U.S. development teams are great for the top guys. But, man, if you're a third or fourth line player or like a bottom pair defenseman on those teams, you're an elite player still, and you are just not playing.
Yeah.
They're better off spread out.
Here is what would have been trending. The 3 stories I wanted to write today at Media Day were what separates Chris Knobloch from other coaches you've had in your life. I wanted to ask like 12 players that and like put together a story. Kasperi Kapanen on his role and the trust they seem to have in him, even after sitting out for as long as he did, and like what it means to him, what it does for his confidence. And at what moment in these playoffs did you feel like you got your swagger back? Those were the 3 stories I wanted to write. Giannis to the Raptors, Aaron. You're our resident NBA guy.
I'm down for it. Here's the latest news. It would be Scotty Barnes as a centerpiece. So Damian Lillard tore his Achilles in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're done. Bucks
The
are done.
Bucks, yeah.
They're way older. They got to get rid of him. He is so tied to the Raptors and Masai Ujiri. He's responsible for so much of his career. The Raps got a lot of pieces. I am so down for this move. Giannis, he's 30 years old. He's still top 3 player in the NBA. You bring him into your team if you can.
The dream, though, would be if in some way you could keep Scotty and get him.
There's no way that'll happen.
Yeah, that can't happen.
There's just no way. Scotty's too good.
Who else do the Raptors have that's like good and young?
Brandon Ingram is
he sucks.
a couple years younger than Giannis, I'd say.
Brady Dick.
RJ Barrett, Grady Dick.
Grady
Yeah.
Dick.
Like, could you throw
Emmanuel
a package?
Quickly's a good. They got a lot of good players. It's just
So what if
Giannis
you just
is
did like what if Milwaukee's sitting there going, hey, we need to go like the OKC route where we just want picks. And if you sent them like a Quickly and you sent them a Barrett or a Grady Dick and then they just flipped those guys for picks and like they just wanted to multiply picks. Because I think the whole point of getting Giannis would be that you're trying to build a contender and you can't probably win. You can't
want
win.
your RJ Barretts, you want your IQs to pair with him. You want to get rid of younger guys.
So
Scotty
that's why
kind of is one of the younger guys they have.
Yeah, but isn't he going to be a star?
Oh, yeah. But Giannis
Scotty?
is a megastar. Giannis is a superstar.
I know, but like I'd want Scotty and Giannis on the same team.
Yeah. If you're looking for some real Raptors coverage, check out Hello and Welcome.
And Raptors Republic.
Raptors Republic.
They're both a part of our
Sister
brand, our
sites,
company.
I guess
I
you'd
listen
say.
to them all the time. They're great.
Yeah. Hello and Welcome is awesome. It's a really good show. Speaking of new things that you can listen to, Reese recorded a new episode of Ask Dubnik right away. So there you go.
What did you ask him, Reese? You ask him all the questions, right?
The people ask him the questions.
Oh.
I just provide.
Thanks, Reese.
What'd Lance have this week?
New episode of Oilersnation Radio is going to drop later on this afternoon as well.
That'll come up.
Yep.
What else we got?
Well, let's tell
You
people.
can listen to Leafs Nation and Flames Nation talk about the Oilers if you want more coverage.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? Let's tell people about the contest we're doing over on our Instagram. Let's give everybody the menu. It's brought to you by the Ninja Crispy 4-in-1 portable glass air fryer.
Meet the Ninja Crispy Portable Cooking System. The power of a full-sized air fryer in the palm of your hand.
It's an all-in-one system that includes 4-quart, 6-cup tempura glass containers and 2 storage lids. It's thermal shock resistant and can go from frozen to crispy in minutes. You can even cook a personal-sized meal in 7 minutes in the 6-cup container. Max Crisp, bake, air fry, re-crisp with the Ninja Crispy. Prep, cook, and store anything from crispy favorites to one-dish meals. And right now, over on our Instagram, head over there at OilersNation.com. Go to our Instagram. You can win. Simply go to the post, follow Ninja Crispy Canada, and reply to the post with the dish you'd like to cook in your Ninja Crispy. Contest is available right now until June 6th at 9:59 p.m. Mountain Time on June 6th. That's how long you have to enter. You can also check out, we just put the link to the Instagram post in our YouTube here, so you can click through there, or you can go over to Instagram on your phone, or just go check out their website, ninjacrispy.com. All right, the menu tonight, again, no hockey.
Nope.
That sucks. Blue Jays are in action. They kick off a 3-gamer with the Phillies. Jordan Romano's back in Toronto. That's cool.
Is he good? still?
He somehow got good again. He was terrible to start the year. Now he's good again.
Well, that's good.
So,
that's good to know.
That's nice. No basketball. NBA the finals.
The starts on Thursday.
Those are the finals, but it is the Stanley Cup Final. Don't put an S on the end of Stanley Cup Final. Mm-hmm. It is not the Stanley Cup Finals. There's one final. There's one series.
SCF. That's what they're going with.
Yeah, SCF, Stanley Cup Final. Giddy up. Greta tomorrow night should be a blast. I can't believe Game 1's in Edmonton tomorrow. That is such a cool feeling.
That is cool. I'm very excited for the vibes. Friday night is going to be lit.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to get a table at Greta because I can't. I got a few buddies, and I'm fired up. I want to be at Greta on Friday.
I think you'll be good. Also, look at this photo of Lance. I love that.
Oh, yeah. Lance, you beautiful son of a bitch.
There was one of your friend too, Aaron, right?
Yeah, Colton.
Yeah.
And Pangs.
But the cup year under Lance's hat, the look in his eyes, probably looking at me.
Get this man a cup.
Get Lance Kane a Stanley Cup.
Lance is...
Lance would be so upset if he listens to this later and he wasn't in the chat for once and we were hyping him up.
Yeah.
Edit it out. Shout out to our friends at Greta. Our watch parties presented by Fountain Tire. The final. Every single game. Live shows, giveaways, trivia. Plenty of fun surprises.
I'm on the mic every game. We're going.
Yeah,
we are balls to the wall here.
I mean, to be fair, you've been there every game in the playoffs. Except for one now. But you're back in the saddle. You're ready to roll.
Come on.
Naramac. I wonder which Panther is going to knock Draisaitl out of the series as payback for the Barkov hit. So that was last year when Barkov got ran hard, but he finished the series.
Didn't miss a game.
Yeah, he didn't miss a game, so I don't know.
I don't think any of them, because payback does not exist in the NHL anymore.
No, that's really not a thing. Like, I don't know. No one even went after Bouchard after he slashed hints, right?
Yeah, like Jamie Benn said a few words. And
that was it.
Continued to be irrelevant in the series.
Yeah, and then Pete DeBoer was even like, Pete DeBoer had a couple of things he said.
A lot of smoke coming out of Dallas yesterday, actually.
I'm very
Dave
curious.
Pagnotta more than Kevin Weeks. We all know what Kevin Weeks was about, right?
Yeah.
We're all pretty aware that was just an outdoor game coming to Dallas.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or expansion. So again, we weren't allowed at Media Day for reasons that we don't know. Probably tied to how they view our legitimacy. Someone is at Media Day interviewing the players with a puppet.
Fuck off.
So remember, Liam. Us, Oilers Nation? No. Guy with puppet. In.
You're also wearing daily face-off.
Yep. So well. So yeah, Jeff Skinner is currently getting interviewed by a puppet at Media Day.
I actually need to see that content. I need to see that.
Posted that.
Wyshynski. Like Media Day's supposed to be like wacky and fun too. That's the thing. Whatever. I'm not over it.
You think of like Super Bowl Media Day.
It's like, dude, DJ Bean and Pete Blackburn went to Super Bowl Media Day as hockey reporters.
God, that drives me. That is pissed me off.
Yeah, it put me right back in a bad mood too.
I kind of got over it, and now I'm just right back in there.
Yep. Anyway, since we're not down there, we're going to be around for the episode of Oilers Nation Radio today, so we'll be going and hanging out with the boys. I can't wait to talk to Rick.
Yeah.
I think did Rick say he's going to game 1? I think he is.
Yeah, he is with Jay.
He's going with Jay. Oh, what a lucky son of a gun, hey? Not a lucky duck. Rick is the best to watch games with. Someone said, how do you watch Media Day? Don't know.
I don't know. Don't care. Watch this show. Sorry.
We were talking about DeBoer. There was this. Liam, you mentioned
Yeah,
Pagnotta.
this was it.
Oh, yeah, from our good friend David Pagnotta, who I really want to get on the show. He's in town. Noise out of Dallas, Pete DeBoer, multiple sources. Players are not pleased with how he handled several situations during the Western Conference Final and the post-game 5 and exit media remarks. Told players voice concerns during internal exit interviews. DeBoer has 1 year left on his contract. So this seems prime to that they will keep him. They will start bad and gas him in November. Right?
They should just let him go now. Like, I don't know what people... Like, you see stuff like this, like, what are you waiting for? To get bad?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, your goalie hates him. It's pretty clear that a lot of his comments, he was frustrated with stuff. He literally said the team was bad.
Yep.
But yeah, no, keep him. Good idea.
I mean,
Dallas
doesn't bother me if they want to be bad.
And you're right. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. He's going to be a lame duck head coach next year, and they're going to do we're not talking extension because we want to see how the year goes, and he's just going to get fired at some point during the regular season.
Do you know what would be crazy if he gets fired, doesn't get a job, and then he's still on the Olympic committee?
That would be good.
He's one of the coaches for the Olympics, if you don't know.
58% said no to Jonathan Taves in our giant poll. So there's that. The Knicks just fired Tom Thibodeau, their head coach, after going to the Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
Whoa. He plays his players like nuts. They play like 45.
Yeah.
5 good dudes play 40-plus minutes a
Yeah,
night.
I don't think he's that good of a coach.
No, I don't think so either.
Kind of like Pete DeBoer.
There you go. It all comes back together. All right. Oh, we should wrap up for our friends at Bet365. Download the app today. Whatever your bet, it's never ordinary. Bet365, an official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. If you want to get in on the action, they got you. Game props, player props, totals, and money line, whatever your bet, it's never ordinary. An official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 or older. Liam, we're going to get into some betting talk on, obviously on Oilers Nation Radio, as we do every episode. We'll have Jay on tomorrow, but looking at a few more of the futures in some ways to maybe make some money. What about, under half a shutout in this series? So no shutouts. No shutouts in the series.
Well, Stu's been getting
I can't bet on that
around.
with the track history of Stu here.
No, there'll be one shutout in this
You
series.
think there's going to be one?
What is it, sorry? Minus.
Plus 190 for under. Oh, you want the over? The over is minus 240. You can get the line at 1.5. Over 1.5 shutouts is plus 240, but 2 of the games to be shutouts is tough.
Plus 190 for under is a little juice, but no.
Yeah, I kind of like. I mean, it's worth it. No shutouts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was minus. Was plus.
No shutouts was plus.
Okay, man.
Plus 190.
I wonder when there wasn't a shutout last year. Oh, no, there was. There was one. Game 1. Damn it.
If I had to give you a guess, who leads this series in goals on Bet365?
Ooh, wow. Draisaitl.
He's the favorite, plus 280. Is that who you'd pick?
No.
Corey Perry at 25-1. I know yesterday I was all in on Corey Perry. I'm drawn to him, man. Power play net front guy. I could just see him. I could see him having two goal games in this series.
Yeah, I could see him having a few.
25-1's crazy good odds.
Nuge.
18-1 for Nuge.
Yeah, that's who I would go with.
I think the handing off the cup, like, I get why you said Nuge, but Dries plus 320.
I like Daryl.
No. It'll be Leon or Nuggy.
I think I'm in on Daryl.
If they're going longest serving, because that's the logic for Daryl, Nuge is longer serving.
No, the logic for Daryl is that he was a groomsman and Nuge didn't even go to the wedding.
Daryl's plus 10,000.
It's all connecting.
No.
We'll see it in 4 days.
What?
No.
They're going to hand out a cup?
Four
Saturday?
games.
Florida's like, you know what? We're done.
4 games. What were you chuckling at in the chat?
The Leon Draisaitl comment.
What did he say?
He said, keep your composure, boys. The puppet got a media pass. It is what it is. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right, we're going to wrap up the show here. Hopefully a lot of fun guests still throughout the week here. We be grinding. Tomorrow, Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of the show. Cup Final edition. Oh, it's almost here. It's almost here. We are now just 29 hours away from puck drop between the Edmonton Oilers and Florida Panthers in the 2025 Stanley Cup Final. I can't believe we're back, man. I can't believe we're back. We'll have Jay on the show tomorrow and a lot more. Thank you to everybody in the YouTube for being so nice to us today. Appreciate you all tuning in. Shout out to our friend Bruce Curlock, who will be at the pool with us in Florida. That's going to be a lot of fun. Enjoy your Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow. Oil up.